And we're live.
We're back.
Yay.
Here I am all the way in sunny Costa Rica. You guys are up north. I'm not sure if there's any snow in Ohio, but Kerra will let us know. No snow.
There is here.
No, it's relatively warm. It was like 70 yesterday.
Oh, okay.
It's being weird out there.
It's not that where John is. It's minus something.
Oh gosh, no. It's strangely warm for Ohio, but
actually we're about 1 degree today, so Fahrenheit
That's
is
pretty
32,
warm.
33 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's
oh
pretty
my
warm.
gosh. No, thank
All
you.
right. So we have our special guest with us. Her name's Kerra Fischer, all the way from Ohio. And I want to just tell you guys how I found her. Was what pretty much how I and myself and John find most guests. She was in the Facebook group for NoBS Photo Success. And I think you were making comments and or liking a lot of my posts. I do a daily post, as you know. And I went and checked out her website and I went, wow, she's got it going on. Let's get her in as a guest. And here you are. Now, to be fair and honest and open, Kerra was very reluctant to join us because she's got a little bit of shyness going on, which I totally appreciate. So. But so the first question I want to ask, and while I'm asking this question, Kerra, so that we can all sort of get to know you a little bit better, I want to show the screen and make an observation. Can you guys see my screen?
Oh,
We
gosh.
can.
Is that your studio?
Yes, that is. Oh, that was
Look-
from last year. That's fall because there's a little flower.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the studio.
I was checking out your town. It's, how do you pronounce it, by the way?
It's Chillicothe.
All right.
It's an old Indian. It derives from an old Indian name. There's a lot of Indian burial grounds around here. That's been
Nice.
based on that.
What a charming little downtown. I want to move there.
That looks like my downtown here.
Is it nice?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love these. Like where I'm from, it's like a mining community. We've got like union halls.
Yeah, it's nice to photograph around here for sure. It's definitely,
Yeah.
it definitely has its charming character, and it's been built up. And there's a lot of construction actually going on right now. They're redoing a lot of the buildings. So
Nice.
yeah, they're trying to really make it like the hometown hallmark feel, and the people the powers that be are doing a pretty good job. So
That's
I flail
good to
my
hear.
hands a lot. Just
So are you from there? And let's go from there and give us a little bit of history and tell us what got you into photography so we can start.
so
to
I
see where
am
we go.
not originally from Chillicothe, but I've been here for 22-ish years. So I guess I'm
Mhm.
from here now. I had gone to a vocational school in high school, which is like there's all my stuff. A vocational
Sure.
school in high school, and I met people down this way and ended up just kind of staying in the town because when I was younger, because I was like 18, 19, when I was younger, it's smaller than Columbus, which is our big city. I didn't want to live in a big city, and it's bigger than the city that I was in. So it was kind of a nice little in between.
Mhm.
And so I decided, I kind of liked it down here and wanted to stay.
Nice. So that's a couple decades ago. What were you doing there? You weren't doing photography back then, or were you?
Well, I mean, I was straight out of high school. I met my husband at our vocational school and then just stayed.
Nice.
Been with
Is
him
he
since
from there?
Yes, he was born in Chillicothe. So
Children? No children?
we have 2 kids. I have
Nice.
a 16-year-old and my son will be 12 next month.
Which one's your favorite? I'm joking. You're going to answer that question, aren't you?
Don't ask me questions that you want real answers to.
All right. So what does your husband do? Does he help
He
you
does
with this?
heating and cooling.
Pardon me?
Heating and cooling, like puts in air conditioners.
Ah, he's got a real job.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so what were you doing back then in photography? Tell us a little bit about what got you into, because you do amazing work, and I'd like to talk about some of this stuff. And your initial image when you go to your website is very strong, and there's reasons why you do what you do and create that image. We talked a little bit about that, so I'd like to maybe dig into that a little bit. So give us a little more.
I did not do photography when I was younger, but I did get a job. So I started in our Walmarts, I don't know, in the box store situation. And I remember when I got the job initially, like crying because I was like, I get to be a photographer. Now I know, like, that is not the way you want to run a business. But that's where I started, was in the big box stores.
Doing photography for the high volume. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
So my spazziness was great for there. I did really well.
You're what?
The fact that I'm like crazy because you have to work fast, and it's like, you know, the anxiety work thing, because it's like, okay, you have to get people out the door, you have to take so many pictures, you have to sell them, like, this is what it is. I was in that industry, in that business for 12 years.
Nice.
So I mean, at the time it was, that was the way that I could make money and provide, because I didn't come from very much. Like when I first started my own business, I didn't even have my own camera. I had to go and get a loan and do all the things. So, but I started there. So there are a core group of people that came from there with me as clients, but as my business leveled up, you know, you kind of lose people, because people that start, you know, that come to Walmart, my average was $150. And that was like, I was top of my district.
I thought it was only $10 for a shoot.
No, not with me. I would hide those signs.
Yeah.
Your average is pretty good for Walmart.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I always ran like higher sales because I did better, because I actually cared. The problem with the people that they hire is they just want to put bodies in there to push a button. Because you didn't change your camera settings, you didn't do anything, like any of that stuff. Like I didn't even
somebody
know.
that needed a summer job, basically.
Right. Well, and then I was there for 12 years, and I became the manager within months, because I was like, no, it has to be good. You know, like I'm always trying to do the best I can in any area that I'm working in. So,
nice. I love it.
So that's where I started. And then at some point a client was like, you need to open your own business. And I was like, and I was like afraid. And then she even came to me and said, well, my husband and I, she's a local person, I'm not going to say who, but she's like, we are considering maybe trying to help fund you to get started. And I'm like, you really believe in me that much?
Wow.
Like, seriously?
That's awesome.
For real.
Now that did not end up panning out, and it wasn't, I decided that I didn't want to rely on anyone else.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have that, like, what if I fail them? What if I'm super anxiety? Like, what if I don't do a good job?
That's a good strategy, really.
Yeah. So I started down the path of, well, how can I fund this myself? What do I need to do? So I went to the Small Business Association, and then made like a business plan, which is hilarious because it is nothing like what I'm doing now. You know, everybody needs affordable pictures. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, they do. Yeah. I mean, I guess, but it's not at all like what it used to be. No. But I was able to secure a loan, which they used my house that I had for a lien. And got a loan to start my own business. And I got my money around April, and I bought a camera, and then I opened it, not even knowing.
Okay. I got to ask you two more questions.
I have a lot of words.
That's good. I love this story. Was that all in this town?
Yes.
Okay. And they have a Walmart there?
Yes.
Okay. You hesitated there for a second.
I'm like, wait, no, yes, no.
It's a smallish town, 22,000 people, according to the most recent census. So
it is a small town.
And I'm going to ask you about that in a minute, because I don't know if it's small enough, big enough to support a business, but let's get to that in a second. So what was your first camera?
Nikon $7,500. Is that what it was? I don't know if that's what it's called. It was
In the States, it is. Here, it's called something different.
okay.
No, John.
Isn't it? No, 'cause I know
Come
Canon's.
on,
I
geez.
don't think so.
Canon-
Talking about, are you on drugs?
No, Canon does that. Canon does that.
No,
Canon does
I don't
Yeah.
believe that for a second.
Right.
I remember when I was Canon when I first got into photography digital, and I went to Nikon, and there's never in a million years have I heard that where in one country it's a different name. But anyways, let's get to that later. Was it a 750? No, because this was what?
No, it was a 75. It was the highest amateur camera I could get. Because
Okay.
remember, I got a loan and I only had a finite amount of money. So I'm like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to get a studio, buy all the
Yeah.
things, so I didn't.
Okay.
Within 2 years, I upgraded to a 7D7.
What? Okay, cool. That gives me the timeline. That would have been about 12, 15 years ago ish. Roughly.
I've been in business for 10 years this year. So
Okay, 2012. Okay.
yes. So 2013 is when I actually opened. I started the process of
Nice.
building the business in 2012.
Cool. I love that story, by the way. People
too.
clients come up to you and like, you should start your own. That means, I mean, that might have been the thing that lit the fire, no?
It was the total God thing because literally within 3 days of me leaving the other job, the whole company went under.
Oh.
So I was prepared to go. I was able to take client. I mean, I probably wasn't allowed to, but who was there to tell me to stop? I took client information that I had been with for years and years. And I was able to just be like, here I am. So,
yeah. But it
but it
planted
was
such a powerful seed in your brain and set your destiny in motion. So
yeah.
I got to ask you about, before we move on with this, because I think this is a really important aspect to your story. The fact that you went into Walmart and you shot high volume. I too started out shooting high volume for 4 years. I worked at what was called Suter Studios. It was a chain across Canada, and Canadian School of Studios as a school photographer, which you do not get any more factory workish than that. It's literally soul sucking, but it got me really, really sort of good with people and posing quick. You have to think fast. So was that you went into Walmart, you said, no, we got to do a good job. So you had set the value, you had a certain value. You said, I'm not going to compromise on this. And you wanted it to be represented in the average sales, which is $150, kind of pretty good for Walmart, I would think.
Yeah.
A lot of professionals wouldn't understand that if they don't understand the background behind those high volume scenarios. It's the same when you're doing, I guess, hockey teams, right, John? And you're doing figure skating teams and whatnot. I mean, the volume, if you're making $30, $40 average, you're doing pretty decent. So $150 is pretty decent. So these all sets the stage for you and worked in harmony with you eventually getting into business. So did you move into this location back then?
No, this is my fourth location over the whole time. So I had a much smaller studio, and then I moved to a much larger studio where I had some issues with the people that owned it and the space, and just it was a lot. Then I moved back into a very small studio because I needed to get out of the other one. And this one I've been in, I just re-signed my lease. The owner of the building is an amazing human. My space is beautiful, and
nice.
The only way I would leave this space is if I found a property that I could live on and also have a studio, because it's
that's amazing. I see that in your future. I can totally look, you're on the right path. I'm a big believer in owning your own real estate. I've always felt very, very strong about that. Yeah. Like if that were me in that building there, I'd be like, okay, how can I buy this building? Can I buy this building? I'm
thinking I don't want that much responsibility.
Yeah, but I would ask the question regardless. And when are you big into goal setting and setting big sort of vision plans or?
I'm more of a just keep doing your best and hope. Like, I'm not very good at that sort of stuff. It's like I know that it's relevant and it's important.
Yeah.
And I know what I want to do, but no, I'm not. Like, it's the ADD brain. It's just like, oh, today I'm going to do this. I kind of just follow at whim whatever is pulling me, which isn't the best. But at this point in my life, I'm really trying to hone in on how to be better. Ugh, it's me. Sorry. I'm like,
That's okay. You're looking all confident in that video.
yeah.
And you were telling me that you were quite nervous.
Yeah. It was a stressful day. Yeah, this space here has been upgraded since then. I've got some new built-in sets. I'm working on there's a whole wall now there of built-in sets. Because I'm working on trying to streamline my process so that when people come in, I'm not having to overthink everything, because overthinking is like the bane of my existence right now. Very honest. So I am trying to be like, okay, well, you get this set, and this set, and we can plan your outfits accordingly. So it's a little more streamlined. Because I went from let me put up and take down 15 different backgrounds and do too much in the beginning to there's just been this process of slowly whittling down, honing in, and trying to alleviate the stress and pressure of rebuilding the wheel every time I meet someone.
When you talk about those sessions, is that predominantly high school seniors?
I like to photograph high school seniors mostly, yes. And then I love to dress children up in pretty dresses. And that's like my two favorite things. I've tried, like when I first started and I was like straight from Walmart and like super cheap and whatever, it was all the cutesy backgrounds with balloons and like whatever. And, like all of the chintzy, $50 poly papers you can get. And now it's more, geared towards fine art. I'm getting lost in my thoughts because I'm looking at the video.
It's all good.
But yeah, so, and now, it's just been slowly, like I've kind of taken away more and more of the fluff. And I like to photograph more. It's more about the person in the picture, not about all the random stuff in the picture.
Yeah. You really love photographing little girls. Hey, that's sort of the same idea as fairy portraits.
Yes. And I told you that I did do that. I attempted to do that for a little while because I bought your whole program and did the whole thing. But
cool.
I didn't find, and it was probably me. I mean, everything's probably my fault. But people liked them, but I found that people wanted like one of them. And when I was selling it, it was like, my pricing was so low that it wasn't worth my time to set up the whole thing. And I wasn't shooting like 30 in a day. You know what I mean? Like I'd get 5 and then they'd all want to spend like $200. And I'm like, this is not worth my time. I would rather.
Well, it's pretty obvious. You just said it, what the solution is. Yeah. You said you were charging too low.
Right. At the time. Yes. But it just didn't stick here now. And I kept it for several years. I love to do them. And then I edit too much, and I would edit. I only just this year stopped editing everything before the sale. I was editing everything, every picture. If someone had 30 images, I was spending detailed hours. I'm like, I can't do that anymore. It's weird and hard right now, but I'm working on it. And I still like the sales I've had so far this year are not any lower because I'm showing there. I go in and I color correct and make sure they're like cropped properly and stuff like that. But I don't do like let me make sure your eyelashes are perfect type of editing. So that's the anxiety and the ADHD and like, it has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. I'm like trying to.
Well, who are you using then if you're outsourcing all your workflow?
I'm not outsourcing it. I'm just not doing as much before the sale.
You might get to the point where you might have to outsource it.
I've tried to outsource. I think I've tried everyone in the industry, and I don't like it because they don't do it.
So you feel, I'm going to say you feel you're stuck doing it yourself, but it's not really stuck. Do you enjoy doing workflow? Because I do all my own workflow for my fairies, and it's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. But I'm really fast.
I like to edit a couple, but then I'm kind of over it. So then it's like, because it's not over it. It's just like, like how many of these same things should I edit? It's just, it's because of my control issues. And I feel like
it sounds to me like you're not finding a place that gives the look that you want.
Right.
Your look.
Right. And I tried. I'm like, okay, well, what about this? And everyone tells me, some people have told me, they're like, well, what you want is more than we want to do, or good enough is good enough. And I'm like, oh, no. Not for me. So good enough is never good enough, which is a mental illness, I think, but it is what it is. I told you. I told you it's a lot here.
Then I'm mental, because I love good enough is good enough. So the images on the screen, though, yeah, roll with it. But the images on the screen, the workflow, I mean, the treatment on all these images looks stunning.
Yeah.
So, and you've done them all. You're doing all the workflow yourself, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to hit a point probably at some point where critical mass is going to take over and you're going to be doing too much and you might go crazy, or you have to triple your prices to slow it down.
Well, I have kind of. So I used to be way cheaper and now I'm not, because I spend more time with each person. I used to work so much that I would be dizzy and sick when I would leave.
Wow.
And so now I have up-leveled my products, my attention. Like, I only really want to photograph no more than 8 to 10 sessions a month. So about 2 a week at about a $3,500 average is where
nice.
I kind of want to be. Because the quality of the artwork that I create too is also, I'm always looking for the best in the industry. Nice. So instead of being like, let me print at this, consumer level lab a bunch of 8x10s, I don't do that. I want to create stuff that lasts literally 4 generations. So when I say this is your great grandchildren are going to see this, I believe it. I know it. And I've looked for the products that are going to match that. Whereas other businesses they just want bodies, which is fine if that's and I can't, because I'm so attached to the people in the photos. Like, I know this kid, I know the last lady, I know their story. I know this girl right here. Like, she was so nervous during our whole session. And I had to keep helping her relax. Like this little boy here is awesome. We had to do, it's just, I don't know. And that's actually my assistant. I told her what to wear. I told her what we were going to do. Like, it's very involved. I know these people. I know I'm very connected to these two.
I hear you.
So that's what you get here versus, oh, look, I get pictures today. I look cute. Let's leave. I'll buy an 8x10. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
that's the business I've cultivated, because I couldn't stop putting my heart in it. Yeah. Like, I can't take my heart out of it. So how do I serve clients and also stay connected? I don't know.
And keep sane.
Yeah, well.
sounds to me
overrated.
Sounds to me like you're in a good place where you've achieved a very highly functional state that works for you. You'd want to do so many a month, and if they're actually coming in and you're making those averages, that's pretty good. Let's talk about your averages, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So you get calls coming through and bookings. Do they know they're going to spend $3,500? Or do you work them up to that?
So we do a pre-booking consultation where we kind of talk about, and people don't have to spend that. It's not like you must spend minimum. But I kind of get to know them. I just switched to a format this year where we're pre-planning what they're ordering so that we know what we're shooting for. This has been a journey for me. Nice. It used to be like, let me show you 100 and hope for the best. And now it's okay. Well, you want one large wall portrait. Well, then we're going to do less images, because there's no reason to do 4 outfits if you just need one.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of following that business model. This is new for me. But
makes sense.
I always do a pre-consultation, and they get to come in and look at the products and look at the wall art and see the value of what they're actually investing in ahead of time. I never do like a bait and switch sort of thing. I never do a
Walmart-y thing.
Yeah. I'm not like, let me just try to push you in, because I'm not pushy. I can't be pushy. Like I don't know if it's the anxiety or the stress or the ADD or whatever, but I don't like to feel like I'm forcing anyone into anything. So sales tactics for me aren't like, I'm not like, I don't know. Like,
you are using sales tactics, but they're very authentic and they're
right. Yes. Authenticity is my key. Like, I can never say something that isn't true. I can't be fake in any way. So that's why I'm always like searching for that. And I know a lot of people in our industry I've seen over the years. I'm like, ugh.
You're serving your clients, because selling at the highest order is really just serving your clients. So, and they obviously feel connected to you. It sounds to me like you got a great thing going. And I see it. I don't know about John, you're probably going to agree with me. I see a lot of similarities to what Maria Sampaio does.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I just started following her because I think I did. Was she on one of your podcast? One of these?
Yep.
Multiples. I've
Yeah.
interviewed her many times.
I think I went and friended her because she has a different last name now, right?
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah, I friended her because I was like, "Ooh, I like you." I like how I liked everything about the whole.
I agree with you, though, Rob. I do see a lot of similarities, not just in the pictures themselves, but in the model of her business plan and things like that.
Yeah, that's mostly what I'm talking about is the way you connect and make your sales.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to ask you though, in a town of 22,000 people, can you do that much? I'm not even going to say that that's really that much to do 7-8 sessions a month at 3,500 average, or do you draw in from other towns nearby? Like
I have people that come from away from Chillicothe, yes, and I'm working on trying to figure out. My biggest problem is casting my net to get my information in front of more people. I'm trying to figure that out myself. Because I want more people to be able to choose whether or not they want my level of service. Yeah. So a lot of these people are from Chillicothe though. So, and I've been running probably those averages. I'm terrible at writing them actually down. Like I know, but I don't have like a report somewhere. But I've been at that level for at minimum 4 to 5 years. So I'm doing
something right.
It's working. Yeah, it's working.
It's working. But yeah, so like I know, a lot of them do come from here. I haven't been able to reach so Columbus is an hour north of us, and I've tried a few times to run ads up around there, but I'm not drawing people in. I have drawn more people in from the farther southern Ohio.
Like Cincinnati and
surrounding stuff. Not Cincinnati, but like about a half hour, 45 minutes south. I'm working. That's something that I'm working on, is just trying to get in front of more people who would want my level of service, because I'm different. A lot of people in our town tend to be
I think you're going to get that naturally. It's just a matter of time as word spreads.
Right.
And you get that quality of clientele. It's not about the money, it's about the quality of the experience and the end result. And I like the way you framed it. Yeah. It's like 3-4 generations from now, they're going to still remember this. I love that. Did you come up with that? Was that something that just occurred organically?
It's just kind of been in my heart, I guess. I don't know why. I like, if I'm going to pay for something, it needs to be nice.
Yeah, no doubt.
I cannot stand all of the junky furniture you buy that falls apart in a year, or, I can't, drives me insane. I don't feel like I'm someone that comes from a lot of money or has a lot of money, but if I'm going to give you $5,000 for something, it better freaking last. You know what I mean? So that's where I build, my business is built on that kind of principle, because I don't want, and if at any time I feel like something isn't of the highest quality, I'm looking for the better option. So that's where, I don't want to sell someone something that's a lot of money and then it falls apart, or I can't be that person.
You want it to last. Yeah. So that's a really good strategy. So what kind of a car do you drive?
I have a Hyundai Santa Fe. It's a nice car. I like it. It's a new one because I lease them, because I want a new one every 3 years. But I'm not rolling around in a Volvo or something like that.
I pictured Rolls. The Rolls.
Really? See, I like nice things, but I'm also somewhat practical.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I was just mostly bugging you about that one. So
yeah. I'd take one if someone else wants to. They're
there
cool.
You go.
I find her story very inspiring. People like her really inspire me, because she comes from, like, you've been to my town, Rob, and my town is a small town, 17.5, I think, 17,000 people in my town. The next city beside us is another 15 or 18,000, sorry. So between us, there's like 20, 30,000 people in my town. So people like you and it's I know how difficult it is with everybody's cell phones and this and that. Nobody wants to spend money. So you inspire people like me all the time. So, and I'm loving your images here that Rob's showing.
Thanks. I just like nice artwork. I don't know.
A lot of people have a lot of preconceived notions. Oh, they won't spend that, or that doesn't work in my town, which is nonsense.
I don't. Yeah.
It'll work. People are there and they have money to spend and they value what you have. If you toss the net, or if you jump off the cliff, the parachute will open if you're doing everything right. and I see a lot of what you're doing to be right. So you don't do weddings, obviously. Have you done weddings? You're over it. You're over it.
I did 4 in my first year or 2, and they were not it. Not it. There's too many people, too many things. I'm too much of a perfectionist. I can't say, oh, can you rewind and walk back down the aisle again, because that wasn't perfect. So,
your ADHD kicks in.
Yeah, but the amount of people and just so many things going on, and then like the people that I did photograph, I knew, so I'm like trying not to cry during the ceremony, because I'm like, I'm kind of empathetic, like an empath a little bit. I think I don't know. It's just multiple whatevers, like all of my things combined. It's fun. But like the feelings in the room get heavy. So
the feelings
I have to be
in
able
the
to
room.
control my environment.
You're very sensitive, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, you said it. You're an empath. So
yeah.
I wanted to ask you. You do some really nice family work. I like families the most of all the sessions I do. So I always appreciate when I see families well done. And you do it well. You do it very, very well. Like this pose here.
I love it.
I love that.
Nice. That's actually my building owner.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Did you give him a discount because he's your landlord?
No.
No discount for you.
No, I don't usually give I give more. I don't give discounts. I give more.
What do you mean by that?
Like I would give like extra images for the same amount.
Okay.
Or I don't remember if I gave him, like sometimes I'll order like smaller things that aren't on my price menu, just like little extra things here and there.
All right. So, little extra gifts, and they appreciate it, right?
Yes. Now, if somebody were to come in and sit down and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so expensive and they're going to get whatever they pay for.
So, yeah, I hear you.
It's an equal exchange of like love and consideration for each other.
Unless he's giving you a deal on your rent, why should you give him a deal on your photography?
And no.
So I got to ask you.
He's been very kind to me and helped me out. Like if there were like, especially during the shutdown, I moved in here. We had spent a bunch of money to get it all pretty and all lovely. And the shutdown happened like as soon as I was open. Damn. So I had used everything in my bank account at the time to get this all pretty. And then we shut down, and he was gracious enough to say, if you need extra time to pay your rent, and I was like, no, I'm like, I know you have a mortgage too. So if I have that money, I'm going to, give you yours. So, but that was stressful, but I still,
you made it.
Survived.
So are all the kids in your town that cute? I mean, look at that little girl and that little boy.
Only the ones I photograph.
Yeah. I mean, really, they're all beautiful. And you use a lot of props. Obviously, we saw that in your video. You have a room full of props.
Ish. Yeah.
Where did you get that dress from? I mean, do you bring that to the shoot? They don't bring that to the shoot.
No, so that dress was a rental, like the girl in the red, that's a rental. I actually have started stocking my closet though. I've been buying them. I invested about $15,000 in dresses year before last over the year.
Nice.
And because I love that idea, I don't know, maybe it stems from therapy. It stems from me wanting to be a princess when I was little. So I love that idea of giving them something that isn't every day, making them feel beautiful, watching them get in the dresses and like twirl around and just light up. So that's why those are my favorite, like I said, and high school seniors. Families are not always my favorite, only because of all the things I have to notice. Like this person's here and this person's. It's just the over stimulation that gets me. Now, if like for instance, like the family in the Navy. Now I photographed the little girl first, so I had a relationship with him first. So when they came in as a family, it was like, okay, I know you all. Like it's okay. But I don't primarily photograph a lot of families that I've not met before, I guess.
Okay.
I don't dislike them. It's just, it's a lot more stressful for me.
Yeah.
So
it helps that you have a relationship though. Obviously most of your clients for families are coming in because of prior experiences with you, right?
Yeah. And I do a lot of quote unquote model calls. I don't call them that anymore. I'm trying to call them something different. But that helps me kind of draw more people in so that they can see you know, what the process is. And then of course, if people see that their pictures are posted, then, you know.
What is a model call?
So like if I want to photograph a certain dress or a certain location or a certain thing, like the little boy with the boat, I wanted to photograph the boat. I found it, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, I'm inspired by this thing.
Nice.
I don't have a lot of little boys. So when I did, he was a model call situation. Of course, they purchased images. Model calls aren't free.
No.
They used to be a long time ago, and they're not anymore. I learned the hard way not to waste my time. But yeah, so I do them when I want, like I'm inspired by a certain thing, and then I want to go and photograph it. So
Maria, just to talk about Maria for a second, she talked about one of the interviews I had with her about 4 years ago. She had an area in her town, and she noticed I got to do a family there, and she put what you just described, the model call out there. She ended up selling like $8,000, and it's an amazing story. She's just really good at doing that kind of stuff. So. It kind of makes sense to do a model call. I'm seeing a lot of that. And but I got to ask you about that red dress. That's an expensive dress, or is it like Amazon on China?
No. I very rarely do anything like that. No, that's an expensive dress. They're Anna Triant's. She used to rent, and she doesn't rent anymore.
What's her name? Anna.
Anna, and then Triant.
Nice.
Yeah. So
she might have some fairy dresses for me. Who knows?
You have to buy like what she's selling.
Yeah.
So some designers will do that, and some designers do like custom, like they'll like make. There's a few different options, and some of them are more fairy-ish. I don't know. Those dresses can be anywhere from $600 to $1,500. So it depends on how much you want to put on your fairy kids. When I did fairies, I had like tulle dresses, like fluffy tulle.
Yeah, that's what most of ours are. But there might be some. I'm gonna have a look. See, anyways. Just
depending on, I guess, if you have something. I just don't. I don't want to run. Personally, I wouldn't want to run people through a dress like that's that expensive in a fast-paced environment. So you can do whatever you want.
Well, my fairy session's every 30 minutes, so.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want someone ripping off and on a Triant. You know what I mean? No. It's just scary, but.
Yeah, it's I get it. So, what's your plans for the future? Do you have like sort of like, I'm gonna, like you mentioned earlier, it'd be nice to have a place where you live and shoot at the same place, which I think is an excellent idea personally. And there's probably some really spectacular areas that are on the edge of town or sort of in the country where you live. Is that something?
I just lost a house yesterday that I tried to get. So it's like,
so you're actively looking.
I've looked, well, when things pop up, again, I'm always looking, I'm always noticing, I'm always looking too many things. When things pop up, and this house was really cute, but it's fine. I probably don't need it, honestly, right now. And so it's like a safety net thing. This is me being always honest because I'm ridiculous. But like, if I decided tomorrow that I didn't want to do this anymore and I couldn't handle it, all I have is the mortgage I have. Yeah. If I were to move, because if I were to get a house, then I would get rid of the studio, and then I would just have a much bigger mortgage, and that pretty much mainly rests on me. So that pressure, like, and so it's like I'm doing fine, but in the back of my head, I'm like, but what if you don't? So, just so it's still sketchy, and I'm like, it's like in my mind, I'm like, can I do both? But. Yeah.
You're playing with the idea. Well, you're young yet. You're just a baby, really, in the grand scheme of things.
I feel old.
You got a long ways to go, man.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm just a big believer in goal setting, and
I would like to. I try.
all you got to do is describe what you see 5 years from now. That's all you got to do, and it helps to write it down. And
so my problem is I change my mind a lot. Right. So it's the ADD really bad. It's like, okay, this would be great. And then something else pops up. I'm like, oh, but this would be great. And then, so it's hard for me to get a very clear picture. So I'm just like, let's just keep running and see what happens. So, like, I don't know. I want to, but then it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm afraid that I maybe would let myself down if I didn't make a goal. I don't know.
Yeah. But then again, I've always said this about goals. You're allowed to change your mind. But I'm guessing too, that a lot of your visions and or goals or whatever you want to call those are going to have a lot of commonalities, and that's the important thing. This
Right.
is what I want. Sometimes we want something and it's not what we want. We think we want it, but it actually represents something else.
Correct.
Like I wanted to be a sailor once in the 80s, bought a
Mm-hmm.
sailboat in the 90s, and I sold it the first same year. And I'm like, I don't want to be a sailor.
I don't want to do that.
I want what sailing represents, which is freedom. That's what I wanted.
Right.
That was the most important thing to me. So
yeah, and that's where I'm at. Like in my life right now, I'm kind of in that spot where I'm like, what is it that I want?
Yeah.
Like, what am I trying to like? Because now, you know, when I was younger, I'm like, okay, I just have to pay back bills and keep running. I'm in survival mode. So I have never been in a position where I kind of like made a platform to stand on. There's like, it's always like, well, this is wobbly. Just keep trying to survive. And
wobbly. This is wobbly.
I need to create something stable and or that's my current journey. Like
you're building a platform right now though, right? And I just, before you answer that question, I want to point this out to anybody else, especially anybody else who's listening and watching, who's kind of starting out. This is a journey. What Kerra is describing is a journey. Everything that came before led you up to where you're at now. And it's something that I've experienced, John has experienced, and it's very, very legitimate as far as building your own business in photography. So the platform, do you not agree that you're sort of, you can see it now? It's
I'm working on it. I'm trying. I'm always unsure. That's the problem.
You keep saying you have ADHD. Is that true?
Yes. I am diagnosed, but I'm unmedicated. So it's real fun in here.
Yeah. I'm convinced. I've had it my whole life, convinced 100% unmedicated as well. But
I don't like medicines. So.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. But it's actually, in my opinion, it's a superpower.
I just have to harness it.
Yeah. If you don't let the impulsivity side and the lack of executive function, sometimes we lack discipline, which I did throughout my 20s. But I harnessed it when I was 31, and life is good. And you certainly get to see the world in a different way. And I see that in you. Do you not see that in her, John?
I very much do.
Sees the world a different way, and it's a superpower. What do you think, Kerra? Is that accurate, or am I full of?
Yes. Sometimes I feel like it's a curse.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just like, I just wish I could just be like everybody else, but I know that it's good that I'm not. But then it's like lonely out here because I don't really work with people. I'm really quiet. I don't have like a room of like people to sit here and say, oh, well, what about this or what about this? It's like I have to think about it all by myself, and then I overthink it. So
you overthink it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, if that's the worst of your hassles, I mean, you're doing what you're doing because of that, and your passion is driving you, and all the energy that goes with that. And sometimes it's like a loose fire hose, I'm sure, but it's the very essence of your photography business and your vision, and it seems to be a good thing as far as I can tell.
Okay, so, we'll go with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's legitimate, and just don't pick up any bad habits like gambling or heroin.
No, I don't know. That's on the other side of town. I don't live over there.
Yeah, don't pick up any bad habits.
I think Rob's been in Costa Rica too long.
It's the Costa Rica.
So what are
he's known for some things, so.
So what camera are you using now? Let's get a little bit technical.
I have the Z9.
Oh, the Nikon, right?
Mirrorless.
Jury's out. I don't know. I switched to mirrorless and hated the first ones and almost jumped ship and went to like another. Like I rented the Sony, but then they forgot to give me the little flash trigger, so I didn't really get to play with it as like I wanted to. But then I just like the way the Nikons feel. Like they just feel good. So about the time I was trying to switch, they're like, oh, the Z9's coming. And I'm like, okay, well, if it's going to fix the autofocus issue that I have, then whatever. But I'm so twitchy that I still have focus issues. So I'm like, is it because I'm like, takes the picture, or is it because of the camera? So I don't know. It is what it is.
I have a theory. Mirrorless fixes ADHD twitch. When I switch, and I hear this from a lot of photographers, they love the autofocus and focus on Canon, Nikon, and Sony, and then I agree, it's like unbelievable. So
Yeah, so I like it. I just don't, it's fine.
I hope you don't mind me making a few jabs and jokes about ADHD. So.
Oh no, I'm fine. I understand. No, I got it.
You
If
seem
you see my
pretty,
posts, they're all over the place.
you seem pretty open and all. So
Yeah, I'm too open. There's no filters.
yeah, it's all good. So do you have a favorite lens and or light? Like you shoot obviously on location, like that picture of your assistant on the beach. Was that Lake Erie, by the way?
No, that's Tybee Island,
Where's that?
Georgia.
Okay.
So I took my senior model team last year to Georgia because I've been wanting to photograph there. So it's one of those like, I want this. Okay, find people to put it in here, right? So we photographed around Savannah, and then we photographed on the actual beach. So Tybee was awesome because it's not super packed with people. And I'm going back again this year. But
nice.
Primarily I don't really like zoom lenses. But right now I have a 24-70, and that tends to be the one I happen to grab because I used to have an 85 that I loved, and I switched to a 105 when I switched to a mirrorless. I don't know why, but I have to stand way far back, and I only have so much space.
Yeah.
So I would like to get another 85, but I don't think as of right now Nikon has a native 85 for
the mirrorless.
The mirrorless. So
it probably will in time.
Right. So
well,
yeah.
You said you have a 28-70, right?
24-70.
24-70. So the 70 is pretty close to 80 or 85.
I know, but it's different like compression, I think, isn't it? I feel like it's better.
Really.
I just like prime lenses.
Yeah, the only thing that might be different is the quality of, but this 28-70 or with 24-70 might be very high quality. I don't know, just something to think about, playing devil's advocate here. So that's the picture right there, right there. See it on the screen?
Nope. Let me
okay. I'm showing my screen, but obviously.
Maybe I got to bring it up. I don't see anything. You don't have anything down there to bring up. You haven't hit to share it yet.
Oh, that would help, wouldn't it?
Oh, here it comes.
The image of your assistant. I want to talk about her.
Right now, we just got the slideshow going through.
Yeah. Well, that's what we got going, and I don't know.
She's the first one in that slideshow, so it's.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can stop it.
I don't think so. It doesn't matter. But this is this one here.
Yes.
So you said that was in Georgia. You were bringing your seniors there. What was that all about? Was that a promotion or? So
I've had a senior model team, or I called it the VIP team, for a couple years. I've been trying to grow that. Mm-hmm. I feel like in our area, though, a lot of people they think it's like a cheap or free. And I've tried to cultivate a different, like, we're going to go on trips and whatever. Now they have to get there and be part of the team. It's a paid for team, but I was just trying to offer something really unique. Like, my goal is to always be unique in what I offer here. So it's completely different. Yeah. But we went to Savannah last year. This year I'm going back to Savannah, and I'm going to Chicago. I've never been to Chicago. So
you're due.
But that's what we did out there. And I photographed on the beach a couple years ago, one person, and I thought that was fun because we don't really have that around here. So
that's beautiful. So that is sort of like a special, sort of a VIP club membership sort of group. And every year you could get a new crop of seniors who possibly want to get involved in that. Is that the way that works? This
year is going to be my last year because I don't know if I'm just not in front of as much people. Yeah. Like when I tried it, maybe I'm not explaining it. I'm like, do you realize you get pictures all over this place? So I only, like, last year I had 4 people, and this year we're down to like 3.
How many do you need for it to work?
I would like to have 7 or 8 so that, you have a group. Like, you don't want to see your.
They have to pay to be in the group.
Yes, they have to pay to be in the group, and then they have an order minimum, because if we're going to drive all over the country and do all of these sessions, then you have to make dollars.
What do you think you need to do to get 8? I
don't know. That's what's. So I'm kind of done. I feel like I just want to focus more on the people who want to be here. Yeah. Like, I want to focus more on the people who value what I'm actually doing. Whereas, maybe I just need to cultivate more of an explanation of why I'm different, and what, I just need to get that clearer. I need clarity to others.
Maybe charge more too. I don't know. I'm just off the top of my head brainstorming.
My seniors are usually between 5,000 and 6,000 in the
Yeah.
end.
So if
I mean, I
they
feel
are
like
at that, if that at that range, they qualify for this group.
right.
So yeah, maybe explain it better. It sounds like a lot of fun and a lot of people would want to do it. Those people who
Yeah.
have the desire and the money to spend on it. So
Right.
I know John Rochford from Sydney, Cape Breton, which is like got a 40% unemployment rate. He was bringing them to New York and Las Vegas, and he was doing seniors in Canada, where we are like seniors. That's old people, right?
Right.
We don't have the same culture as you guys do in the States, where seniors is such a part of your culture and mindset. So what other promotions and or specials and or groups and what have you that you like doing? Or
I don't really for this high school seniors or in
general?
general.
In general, and
I don't
yeah,
really do. Every time I try to run a sale or a special, nobody books.
okay,
So I bring people in from like model type sessions, model calls, because they're like, oh, look at my kid, it's cute, which I mean I would do the same thing. but but I tend to pull people in more from that than any sort of special. It's crazy how someone would come in here and pay me $8,000 straight off the street before they'd come in on a sale. And I'm like, I don't know why. But that
run with it, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm mad at it, but I'm just like, really?
I think the universe is creating a vacuum in your life for high-end fairies down the road. So
I don't know about fairies, but I feel like
I think it's a
keep
perfect
getting
match.
told that I'm to create actual artwork versus
Mm-hmm.
a fast-paced environment. Sometimes I just want to say F it and I'll just do fast-paced environment because I'm sick of trying, because like that's just the reality of life, because I'm just like tired.
Mm-hmm.
But when like I realized this year when I switched to this, like I do albums and wall art, right? I was sitting in this room because my computer's right here to edit, and I'm looking at my walls, and everything I want to post or not post, print is very artistic looking in gold frames, beautiful like families, just pretty single individuals in an artistic fashion. And I'm like, that's my heart. So I just need to stop, because again, I'm like, oh, squirrel, I love high fashion seniors. Okay, well, that's another, and I like this. And it's like, well, but what do I keep printing? I keep printing this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, maybe I just need to hone in, get even clearer. Again, that's been my like peeling off layers of, I always want to make sure I'm doing things right. So I'm like, is this right? I'm trying to listen more to my heart and go down that path. So
it's a really good observation.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna steer you down the wrong path.
Right.
That room behind you, is that your lobby or is that your back room where
I call it my sales gallery?
Okay, cool.
So like pictures are on the wall, and then I have the TVs where I show the pictures when people come in for their sale.
Nice.
And then I've been swapping out pictures so they're not all up. I've got a big empty spot right there. I gotta my head's covering it nicely. That's actually my daughter. Ooh, right there.
Nice. So when they come in at that point in time, I mean, you're probably the sales pretty much embedded in their mind. And
right. They've we've talked about what they're going to buy, about what they're going to be. Now I just switched to, and again, this is very new, so I don't have hard facts on it yet, but I just switched to they're choosing what they want to buy even before I pick up the camera.
Yeah.
So, which is weird. I'm getting used to that, but I like it because then, so again, remember my heart gets involved. So when I do a whole lot of things for someone and they say, oh, I'll take 2 images, then you're just like, but I just gave you my whole heart and soul. And you're going to say, and then I go cry in the back. Like it's happened a lot. So I'm like, no, in order for me to be effective and not like, I need to have clear expectations in the front end. Because they may be like, oh, well, my budget is, $1,500 and here you want me to spend $8,000. And I'm like, okay, but if we have the discussion of like, we really can't go past this and we really want these items ahead of time, then it's not, there's no pain involved. There's a lot of pain involved in being an art, like
a lot of pain.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
I love it.
Again, it's one of those things I just can't shut off the feeling like of creating for someone. So it's better for me to.
It's a part of you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where did you learn or get the idea that, charging $8,000 had to be a thing. Was there another photographer's program that you picked up somewhere? Or
It's not had to be a thing. It's been part of my journey. So I had I started out, where did I start out? I started out not knowing anything. And I've just I bought courses over the years.
Right.
I got into do you know Sue Bryce?
Yep.
I got into that world, and I'm like, her self-value stuff took me from Walmart prices to yes. And now, and I tried the woman's glamour for a while, but women are so we're very picky about how we look and things. When someone, I don't know, even though they looked beautiful to me and I was doing everything I could, they'd still and I'm like, I just don't, it's not it. It's not it.
Did you cry?
Huh?
Did you
I probably cried. I probably cried at some point.
She didn't love the images. Boy, I love them. I agree. I find women are very, whatever it is. I have 4 sisters, so I grew up with that environment.
Yeah.
And, when my wife and I started working together, we were doing glamour shoots. I don't know if you remember that in the 90s and 80s. Yep. Glamour shoots were very popular. The lady would come in and go, I hate my pictures, and they were beautiful. Another lady would come in and she dropped a whole shitload of money for her baby pictures. And we look at each other and went,
right.
The hell, no more glamour.
Right. Now, and that doesn't mean I can't do it. It's just not my
yeah.
And the way Sue and her people all photograph people, that is beautiful. And I am attracted to that brand, but it's not something that I can emulate. So that's where I love, to do it for the children and
little girls,
teens,
and boys.
Yeah.
Well, they're so young and innocent, and it's part of you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want her to be a princess. Who speaks that way, John? Our friend Maggie. Every woman is a princess.
Yeah. She does that once a year. She does her Every Woman Deserves to Be a Princess special.
So, but anyways, it's time. We're almost done. We got 3 more minutes. So
thank God.
Boom.
I can breathe.
You did an amazing job. We really got to see your authentic self and learn from you. I thought it was absolutely amazing. So some fun, quirky questions. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh my gosh. I remember I like everything. Some of my favorite movies, I love the coming of age movies like Now
Me
and
too.
Then.
Yeah.
And what is it? The one, oh crap. See, don't ask me questions. It has Ashley Judd in it. The Yaya Sisterhood movie. Loved that one. It's
I didn't
Divine
see it.
Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. That was a good one. And then My Girl. I love all of those older ones. I don't get to watch movies anymore because who has time to watch the TV? So
yeah, true. So what's your favorite meal?
Anything pasta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I could eat spaghetti every day, which is a problem.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite band?
A favorite band?
Music band.
Okay, I thought he said van. I was like, no.
Yeah, what's your favorite band? Do you like the Chrysler?
It just depends on the day.
Right.
So I really love if I'm in a grungy kind of mood, then it's Linkin Park.
Nice.
But on other days I like Christian rap, like Lecrae. When I say ADHD, my playlist.
I was gonna say those are 2 very different.
So yes.
That's
and
cool.
then I also I don't know. I like everything. It just depends on the day. Except for metal that you can't understand. I can't do Slipknot, but I can do
not your thing.
Yeah. I like NF. I don't know.
So, John, you got any final questions for Kerra before we close off here?
No, I've just been soaking it all in and looking at the pictures and listening to what she has to say because I'm taking a lot of what she has to say to heart because I have to do a lot of those soul searching and changes myself. So I'm enjoying a lot of this. So
yeah. Well, there's hope for you, John. Someday you might grow up.
Maybe. I try not to.
Maybe you got your own special type of ADHD as well.
No, I think I'm just more mental.
Hey, I'm glad you said.
I have a mental illness, but I don't hide it. Other people do, and I just can't. So it's just it is what it is.
Well,
I just try to be authentic. That's my core life value.
I've done a lot of research in ADHD, and it's not a mental illness. So they don't qualify it as such. It's more of a condition. Did you know that?
I take in so much information all the time, so I haven't really like. I try to be accepting of it, but sometimes I wish it wasn't there. So
Your superpower. If you didn't have it, you probably would have been whatever, a dental hygienist or something regular.
see, I feel like
normal.
ignorance would be bliss right now. Like it's like, it's like
I know the feeling.
I just
All
don't
right,
want to
Rachel.
know.
All right. Well, thanks again, Kerra. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And I'm going to post the replay inside the NoBS Facebook group. And maybe we'll get you back next year. That would be amazing. And
Okay.
track your progress if you're interested. So
Definitely.
That's fine. Well, I didn't die, so maybe.
you felt,
You'll be more of a pro next time.
well, she was.
She
I
did.
mean,
You
really.
would never know she was nervous today.
Oh
No.
God, I'm twitching. It's fine. It's fine.
All right.
She's
So,
go in the
right.
back room and cry in a second.
Cry now? No, I'm not gonna cry. I'm good.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.